fans, thank you for watching the Giants Alliance channel. Today is the first day of padded practices for the New York Giants, and there are no major injuries to report, which is very good news for a Giants team that has dealt with many injuries throughout the last few years. There was a major injury by the Dallas Cowboys today. Gerald McCoy, one of their big free agent acquisitions at defensive tackle, tore his ACL, so he's probably out for the entire season. But the Giants were very healthy today. The only player to not participate fully was Grant Haley, who did some work on the side, one of our backup cornerbacks. Evan Ingram and Corey Coleman both participated fully and both looked very good according to Art Stapleton. They were running full speed and they were looking very quick and accelerating out of their cuts. So that's a very good sign for the Giants because Evan Ingram is an X factor on their offense and Corey Coleman is a deep threat that we need on the outside and can probably be our starting kick and punt returner if he's fully healthy. So that's a very good sign for the Giants. One notable player that was missing today was kicker Chandler Catanzaro, who is released by the team. So Graham Gano, who was announced yesterday that he's coming to the New York Giants, has the position basically to himself. And maybe they'll bring somebody else in because Gano was injured all of last season and he's a little bit of a question mark, but when he's healthy, he is a very good kicker. And remember, a couple of years ago, he beat us on like a 63-yard field goal when he was the kicker for the Panthers. So the Giants, this training camp is extremely important because we have a brand new coaching staff, a brand new system on offense and defense. And I think it's a benefit in some ways that there's no preseason games because we have a very good, in my opinion, coaching staff that has more time to actually teach the players on the field and coach them up. And I'm really excited about our coaching staff. And in this video today, I'm going to go into some noteworthy quotes from the last couple of days. And I'm going to start off with Jason Garrett. And this was the first time Jason Garrett was able to talk to the media since he became offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. And he had something very interesting to say about Daniel Jones. And about Daniel Jones, he said, "There's no question he is a football guy. He loves football. He's always so prepared. He's always studying his stuff. He always has great questions and wants to get better. My experience has been when you have that kind of approach and that kind of attitude, you have some ability. You're going to keep growing and getting better every day." And he's certainly done that. So I think it's a really good sign that Daniel Jones is considered a football guy by Jason Garrett, because a football guy is somebody that's addicted to the game and will do anything it takes to get better. And Jones is definitely that kind of player. And I think it's a really good sign because we're only going to go as far as Daniel Jones takes us. This is the first training camp where Jones has full reins or all the practice reps with the full first team. So I think Jones is going to have a really good year. He's going to be much better than people expect, in my opinion. And I think that's a really important quote that Jason Garrett mentioned, how much Daniel Jones cares about getting better and how much he really loves the game of football. That's a really good sign. The next quote is from our defensive coordinator, and he said 4-3-3-4, 4-2-5, they all kind of blend together in my mind. So Patrick Graham has a really tough task ahead of him. He's going to be coaching a defense that has a glaring hole at the second cornerback spot. And that's another update from training camp today. Darnay Holmes supposedly looked really good. He was beat at times, but he definitely held his own during camp today against the receivers when they were going up against each other. And I think he's such an important player. And a lot of people thought, why do we draft another cornerback in the 4th round? We have so many young cornerbacks. But that pick is so important. And hopefully he can maybe fill in that second cornerback spot. But Patrick Graham, whoever is in there, is going to have a tough job because we don't have a dominant edge rusher. And Graham's going to have to be really creative with how he uses his personnel. And I even think guys like Cam Brown, who also looked good today, according to a lot of the beat reporters like Art Stapleton, Cam Brown is going to be an important player, and he's actually working with the edge rushers. So I thought Cam Brown would be a middle linebacker, somebody who plays more off ball. But in the beginning of training camp, he's been working with the outside linebacker group. And Brett Bielema has some decent outside linebackers, but nobody who's dominant. And I think that's going to make the job of Patrick Graham very difficult because he's going to have to send lots of blitzes to get any pressure. And last year, when he was the defensive coordinator of Miami, he actually sent the third most blitzes on third down. So I think he's going to have a tough task ahead of him. I think the defense is definitely behind the offense at this point. But hopefully we can get some rush up the middle from guys like Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence and Dalvin Tomlinson. But another quote I thought was really interesting from Will Hernandez, our left guard. He said, "It's awesome having somebody that's actually been there, done that." He definitely has a lot of inside information. He's one of us, one of the guys. And when I read this quote for the first time, I kind of saw it as a shot at Hal Hunter, because Hal Hunter did not have NFL experience as an offensive lineman, and he did a really bad job, in my opinion, coaching the guys up. Will Hernandez, I thought, was better as a rookie than he was last year, so he did not improve in his second season. But I think Mark Colombo did such a good job in Dallas. I was so excited when I heard about his hire because he did an awesome job with La'el Collins, the right tackle, and of course they had some all-pro talent on the Dallas offensive line, but I think Colombo really helped that unit play as a unit, play cohesively. And I think he could do the same thing with the Giants. And I think he can really help guys like Andrew Thomas and Matt Peart, because Colombo was an offensive tackle himself when Bill Parcells was the coach for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think he's going to do a really good job with this young offensive line group that I think has a lot of potential. And the next quote is actually from Mark Colombo that I wanted to point out. And he said, "Andrew Thomas is a tremendous football player. One of the first things we talked about was his use of hands, hand strike. Andrew's aware of where he needs to get better. That was one thing he needs to get better with, was the use of hands." And Andrew Thomas has all the tools to be an elite left tackle. And I think it's a really good sign how praiseworthy Mark Colombo has been about Thomas, because after quarterback and maybe edge rusher, there's no position that's more important to a football team's success than left tackle and blindside protector. So I think Andrew Thomas is the real deal. He definitely does need to work on his hand placement. That was one criticism of his going into the draft, but I think he's going to do a great job this year. It's going to be a significant upgrade from last year's left tackle, Nate Solder, who opted out this year. But I think that can actually add a couple wins by itself, having Andrew Thomas in there instead of Nate Solder. But the last quote I wanted to talk about that I think is really significant, and it's about Jabril Peppers from our head coach, Joe Judge. He said, "We're going to give him a swing of the bat on a lot of things. We're going to shake it out week by week. However our opponent matches up, he'll be ready to take on a different position for us." So the most versatile player on the entire Giants roster, in my opinion, is Jabril Peppers. And Peppers, when he was a college player at Michigan, could literally play almost any position on the football field. He actually played wildcat quarterback. He played running back at times. He was a deep half safety, a box safety, a middle linebacker, an outside linebacker, a cornerback on the outside, on the inside. So he was all over the football field, and I think he's actually going to play more similarly this year to the way he played at Michigan, where the team's going to put him in the best position to be successful and not just pigeonhole him into the strong safety role. I think McKinney is another really versatile player, and so is Julian Love. So I think Patrick Graham could be really creative with how he uses those three players, those three safeties. And Love might have to play a lot of cornerback, but he can also drop back and play safety, where he did a good job last year filling in for Peppers. So that's my video for today. I'm really excited because the Giants finally have pads on. I'm predicting that there's going to be a lot of fights this year among the Giants players because there's no opponent to actually hit during preseason. So they're going to be hitting each other every single day during camp, and there's usually fights every single year. But I have a good feeling about this team. There's a lot of good vibes around the Giants. They were ranked second by ESPN with talent under the age of 25 years old. Only to the Ravens were ranked first. So the Giants have a lot of young talent. We have a really good coaching staff, in my opinion, with guys like Brett Bielema, the outside linebackers coach, Sean Spencer, the defensive line coach. I'm excited about Colombo, of course, but I like a lot of our position coaches in addition to Jason Garrett and Patrick Graham, our coordinators, and Joe Judge, who's really said all of the right things so far since he's taken over as head coach of the Giants. And yeah, that's my video for today. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Giants.